Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and if you're looking for a fun, interesting, historical, inexpensive area to collect, then you may want to consider looking into what I'm going to show you a little bit right now. These little copper coins are called hard time tokens. I use the term coin there. Of course, these were not legal tender, but they did circulate as legal tender. And so the backstory on here, there's a lot to tell you about the 1830s in America. It's interesting that it's somewhat of a forgotten era because it's almost like nothing between the Revolution and the colonies, and then to the Civil War. There's just this big void for most Americans when it comes to history. But you can really grab a hold of a lot of the history of the time through coin collecting and understand a little bit more about what the history was of the 1830s when there was huge movements of buying land out west. Well, a lot of the land out west was bought on credit, and of course Andrew Jackson didn't like that, and so he kind of put a nix on that. It reminds me of eerily a lot like what's happened in the last year as of when this filmed. We saw interest rates for mortgages go up 2 to 3 times what they used to be, and it really affected the market. So these tokens came out, these coins, they circulated as coins. It was the same size as a US large cent, and they had lots of different designs to them. And people would buy them for 60% of face value, so they could get 1,000 pieces for $6. They'd have $10 worth of coinage, basically, and at that point, they could the people would have something to work with. Of course, there's a really basic section on this in the Red Book on hard time tokens, with some of the most popular designs being shown, but there's also entire books dedicated just to hard time tokens. But one of the most captivating sentences is after May 10th, 1837, silver and gold coins completely disappeared from circulation. That's a sentence. There were shortages of money, partially because Andrew Jackson wanted everything to be paid for with real money, with gold and silver, which worked until it didn't, and they ran out of money. So what's fun about most of these tokens is that you can find things like this pretty inexpensive on eBay on a regular basis. Of course, if you want something with a hole in it, they're really inexpensive. But also, if you want something that's going to be a little bit nicer, even, you can find stuff with quite a bit of detail to it for the more common types and spend, $15 to $50. And what's cool, we're going to take a closer look right now at these. A lot of them that were political and satirical, and then others were basically used just for advertising, and some were used for a little bit of both. So this really cool sailing ship here says Constitution on it. Then we've got Webster, let's see, Credit Current, 1841. And then see, now this one with the Webster design has the not 1 cent for tribute, millions for defense. So that's cool. You got the millions for defense logo. Here's one that also says, 1 cent, not 1 cent for tribute, millions for defense, but it's a completely different design to it. And then you have these designs that look, of course, like a US large cent would have looked in some similarity, right? There's that. There's a nicer version of the same thing, not 1 cent for tribute, millions for defense. So here, let's find another one. Here's another one with the Webster front to it. Let's see if it has a different back. See, look. So you have this front that has the 1841 Webster Credit Current on it. And then the back, though, what do we got? Here we go. Metallic Current, Van Buren. I bet you thought that was going to say Metallica. I just need to add an A, and then we're set. And showing the commentary here is that the metal currency has run aground, whereas the credit currency floats fine and sails well. This one's one of my favorites, the mint drop. I think it's just kind of cool. Mint drop. Maybe I'll name my first son Mint Drop. And here we got the top says Benton Experiment. And I'm not sure what the headdress is supposed to say, but everyone's making their own money. And if you made your own money, you get to make it look however you want it to look and say whatever you want it to say. Let's see if some of these are advertising tokens or not on here. All right. New York Joint Stock Exchange Company, number 6. All right. What is that? The Tontine Building, Wall Street. And there you go, the Merchants Exchange. Pretty cool building. I always like buildings on coins. Here we get to have some fun. Very, very popular coin. Illustrious. I follow in the steps of my predecessor. And of course, we all know what that means. Here we go. Executive. Experiment. Fiscal agent. Once again, commenting on, there you go. Does that say Sioux Treasury on it? And pretty wild just the commentary at the time. From your donkey, come on donkey, to your turtle. And here we have another one here that looks like it is gonna have an advertising portion to it. Providence, Rhode Island. And something coal yard, city coal yard. That's cool. Man, you know, like, I love pulling these up and then not being able to read any of them. Oh, not because I can't see the letters, but because the words are too big for me. Anthracite and bitumus, which coal. Coal's the word I slip up on. It's a 4-letter word. And here we go with Ephraim and Hadaway, 1833. We got a few more, of course, making fun of Andrew Jackson, very popular. I take the responsibility. There he is. And Roman firmness. Veto. As I understand the Constitution. Here we have an exchange. I think this is an exchange bank one. A little bit harder to see on that guy. Yeah, there you go, New York. American Exchange. Let's see. Copy of a medal awarded to Robinson Jones and Company for the best military, naval, sporting, and plain flat buttons. Did you see the buttons coming? Let's all celebrate the buttons, shall we? Yeah, the advertising ones are really cool. Here's a dapper man. Look at that guy. His bowler hat. That's how you know how to dress to the period, guys. Lafayette, a friend to America and freedom. Died May 20th. Ah, check it out. That's a Lafayette token. Pretty cool. Attleboro, Mass. Manufacturers of jewelry near the Union House. Attleboro, Mass. HM and EI Richards. That's cool. So that one is advertising, and then the other side has a commemorative. So you see stuff like this all the time still today on the way advertisers do things. And here's another stock exchange building. but they're appealing to somebody who is a Lafayette fan and as a part of their advertising. Another New York building built in 1827, burnt in 1833. That's fantastic. No flame on that, though. Not 1 cent for tribute. Millions for defense. So let me know if you collect these things, and if not, maybe you should consider getting out there in the open market and just having fun with it. It's really, really interesting pieces of history, especially if you live on the East Coast where you find some of these tokens from hometowns that you may or may not live. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.